Hello and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I am going to be doing an almost full face of some of my favorite Wet n Wild products. Some of them are new to me this year. Some of them I have loved for years and have been using. So I pulled out those products that I have. I don't have a full face, but we're going to do as much as we can of a full face today. So if that sounds interesting to you, I hope that you'll stick around and do your makeup with me. And I also hope you'll consider subscribing. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so first up, I'm going to go in with one of my favorite primers overall. This is the Wet n Wild Impossible Primer. This is almost feels like it's going to be a silicone-based primer, but it's not. It is silicone-free. It has the strangest consistency. I'm going to try to show you here, almost like a powdery consistency. And then you get it on your skin and it rubs in, and then it feels sort of airbrushed and light. But when it first comes out, it's almost like a solid. It's very hard to explain what this looks like. Here, I'm running low. But it's like a, I don't know, like a, almost comes out like a solid, thick, powdery like consistency, and then it just blends away. This does help your makeup stay on longer, in my opinion. It does have a slight fragrance. It's almost like a light coconut smell. It doesn't bother me, but if you think that is something that is going to be bothersome to you, just keep that in mind. But this is a really great primer. I use it with all foundations, not just with the Wet n Wild foundation I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to let that sit for just a minute, and then we're going to jump into foundation. Okay, so for foundation today, I am going to be using the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. People really love this foundation. I'm not sure I could even call it that. It's pretty light. It's like almost like a tinted moisturizer. It has hyaluronic acid and squalene, which are very hydrating ingredients. Sheer to medium coverage. I would say it's more like a light coverage. This is the shade, what shade do I have? I have this in the shade Fair. I almost feel like I could have gone down a shade. I think there's one below this. I think it's Porcelain. But it's a thicker consistency. But when you, yeah, see, it's a little orangey on me, but it's kind of has a sheer, I don't know, like a sheerness to it, gel almost. I'm going to use my fingers to apply this. I've seen some people use a sponge, maybe a brush, but I feel like a sponge would probably absorb a good bit of the product. But this goes on pretty sheer. But I would say, if I recall, this lasts a good long while. I do powder over it. Use a little bit more of this than I do with other foundations, and just blend this right in here. It is hydrating, and you can feel once it soaks into your skin, it does give you some level of moisture, which right now is kind of what I need. I really did cut my finger here. I had a little bit of a fight with a potato peeler today, so a little bit of an accident this morning. Okay, but you can see it does give you, I would call this light coverage. I think it's more than sheer once you build it up a little bit. You know, I think it's a kind of a quick one to blend into your skin. Looks pretty natural. I don't think it's, you know, it's not going to look heavy. But people really, I've heard a lot of people talk about this, really love this. I mean, it's not something I reach for all the time. You know, maybe I'm remembering wrong. I guess you can build this up to maybe a medium, light to medium coverage. This isn't bad. But the concealer I'm going to be using is pretty full coverage, so that is okay. I don't mind the medium coverage, but you can kind of see what that looks like. Again, it always looks, the color always looks different on camera than it does in the mirror for me. So it's looking a lot darker for me in that this is all natural light than it is through the camera. But it is very lightweight. I feel like I put a moisturizer on, and I put a good bit on. I did put, that's a couple of layers. That's a lot more than I put on of a normal foundation, and it still feels very light on the skin. I do like the way it feels. I don't know, maybe I'll have to be pulling this out a little bit more. I can still see my freckles through it, but that's okay. I don't mind that. That feels good. That feels nice. Okay, next up is concealer. It is the Mega Last Incognito Concealer. This is one of my favorite drugstore concealers. It lasts all day. It is full coverage. I would say that even if you have maturing skin like I do, I'll be 41 soon. This lays under my eyes beautifully, no issues at all. It stays in place. I don't need a color corrector with this. I'm going to show you now. Actually, I'm using probably way too much. I don't need that much, but that's okay. Okay. Let's see. Real Techniques Expert Concealer Brush here, just to spread it out a little bit, and then I'm going to use my fingers to blend this in. But it gives an airbrushed look, full coverage. Every time I use this, I forget. You forget when you stop using something. I get stuck on one thing that I really like. Right now it's the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, so I haven't pulled out anything else except my Dior, and I have neglected some of my drugstore gems, and this is one of them. One of my favorites. You can't see it on the skin. I gotta pull this back out and start using this again. This is going on very nicely over top of the tinted hydrator. And you can see it's, and again, this is all natural light. There's no, I don't have any lights on right now, so you can see what that covered. I do have some pretty good dark circles. I did put the tinted hydrator up under my eyes. I don't typically do that, but because it's more hydrating, it's doing okay up there. But this is really nice. Just forgotten how much I love this. By the way, this is the shade Light Honey. If you're looking for a drugstore concealer, this is one of the top ones that I would recommend. It's really reliable. Yeah, I mean, you can see it just doesn't, you can still see my freckles through. I mean, I didn't build this up to full coverage, but I think that you could. There we go. I love that. All right, so let's jump into powder. This is the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Clarifying Finishing Powder. Okay, and this does have a slight amount, I think, of coverage. I've only used this a few times, so I'm trying to remember how much it gave me here. I'm just gonna go in specific areas, around my nose, just a little on the outer corner of my eye, not a lot. I don't go up here because I don't want to accentuate anything. Okay. And again, if I've said this in other videos, but if you are new here, I will be 41 in a couple of weeks. I have fine lines, some sunspots, freckles. I have combination skin. I do have some adult acne that I fight with and at times need to cover. So those are just for reference. If you're wondering why I like the products that I do, that is my sort of my skin type, and you know, just for a frame of reference. That is a pretty natural look, I will say. Again, the shade, I know it looks light on camera, but it is at least a half a shade too dark for me, but that's okay. It is looking pretty natural right now. I'm pretty happy with this. I forgot that this tinted hydrator has more coverage than I remember. I remember it just being so light. Yeah, I forgot how much I like. These are so inexpensive. I want to say both of these were $4.99. So inexpensive, and just really, really good. And I'm about to get into some of my favorite, one of my favorite finds of this year. I don't know why I didn't include it in my drugstore favorites video, but it is one of my favorites. This eyeshadow palette I'll be getting into here shortly. First, I'm going to go in with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer. I had a hard time finding this when I was looking for it online because I'm almost out. I think that they have either redone it or they're calling it something different, but this is a very, very good eyeshadow primer. I've used it for years. My eyeshadow does not budge. I'm only going to put it on my left eye today because I'm testing out another eyeshadow primer that I'll talk about probably in another video on my right eye. So I'm just going to use this on my left eye today, but they feel very similar. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I do not have a brow product that has any tint to it. I use a brow mascara. I'm going to stick with drugstore though, and I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Wow Brow. This is in the shade Neutral Brown, I think. And so I'm just going to put a little bit of that on really quick, and I will show you what I've been using from Wet n Wild to keep my brows in place. Oops. Okay, just went over those really quick. I am going to show you what I've been using lately to keep my brows in place. This is the cheapest stuff and it works. This is the Mega Clear. It is not clear anymore because I use it over top of my brow mascara that I just showed you. Brow and Lash Mascara. It's a clear gel, but it's got just a little brush here, a wand, and I just go over my brows with it, let that dry down, and it holds them right in place. And this is the fastest thing. I don't do much to my brows. So this is very inexpensive as well. You know, I'm sure there are others like it. This one I really like because it does hold my brows in place if you're looking for something like that. I don't have a blush and bronzer or highlighter from Wet n Wild. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some of my other really inexpensive drugstore finds. That way I'm keeping a drugstore. I'm going to go in with the blush that I used in my or I talked about in my drugstore favorites of 2023. This is the CoverGirl True Blend. I'm just gonna go into that really quickly because my favorite product that I'm going to show you is what I really wanna talk about, and that is this eyeshadow palette. So I'm just going to really quickly go in with a little bit of blush. I'm not going anywhere today, so just to have something on to give me a little bit of definition back. Okay. All right. And then let's see, I think I'll go in, oh, and you know what, let me do this. I'll go in with another product that I talked about in my drugstore finds of 2023 video, the Summer Obsession palette by Catrice. I think I'm gonna go in with this bronzer here. And then I'll use the highlight from here too. Just a little bit, doesn't have to be a lot. Give me a little bit of color back in my skin because once I put on that foundation and concealer and powder, I start looking a little flat, so okay. All right, just a little bit there, and then I'll go in with this highlighter shade that I talked about. I love this one. It's one of my favorites, period. It's just really, really pretty. Every time I use it, it's just so pretty. Okay. All right. All right, so again, that's the Summer Obsession palette. Love that as well. Okay, I am going to jump into this palette. I love this palette. It is so, so good. This is the Wet n Wild Always Naked palette. There is another one available with the same number of shades, and it has some rosier tones, some pinks. That doesn't really work that well with my skin, so I picked up this one. I had been wanting desperately to try it. I saw Jessica Braun using it. Check out her channel. She loved this palette, and I had to try it. This is a 16 pan palette. It has, let's see, we have some mattes. We have, this is just glitter. I don't use that one, but there's some really pretty shimmers in here. Such high quality shadows in here. So I'm going to show you a look with this, that one that I typically do. This is it's one of my favorite looks to do. Really, no matter where I'm going, what I'm doing. Let's see. Do you ever do that? Do you have like a signature look that you use? You know, just when you don't feel like thinking about what you're putting on, you just get stuck on a certain look. This is what I do. This is my go-to. So I'm gonna go in with this shade right up here. It's kind of a peachy, warm shade. I'll go up in my crease with this. My finger really hurts. I really did cut it on that. I think it's like an onion slicer or something, and I really sliced my finger up good. Awful. I don't like the sight of blood. I almost passed out myself cutting my own finger. Okay, so I'm just putting this on my brow bone just to sort of create a crease where I don't have one, where my eyes sort of turn down. I like to kind of create a crease there. All right, I'm gonna go into, this is like a cooler to neutral toned brown. I'm gonna go into that. Actually cut it in two places. I cut my thumb too. I don't know how I did it. Okay, and I'm just gonna go over top of that peach shade with it. Again, just trying to create a little bit of a crease here. Again, I'm not a makeup artist, and I've said it in other videos. I just do what I think looks good, and that's that. I think I may have talked about this in an earlier video. I can't remember, but it's been a minute since I pulled it out. So I've been using a few others that I just got, and okay, and you have some really pretty shimmers in here. Let me see. I'll swatch a couple of them because they're really pigmented. That one's got a little shimmer to it, almost like a copper. This has a little bit of gold in it. This one on top here. I mean, you could put these on as a one and done. Here's another one here. That's this one. Just really, really pretty. The mattes are really nice in here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over my lid with this shade right here. It's just like a neutral nude tone, similar to my skin tone, a little bit lighter. Oh, this has some pigment. I forgot how much pigment this has. Wow. Okay. And I'm going to just kind of, it's so bizarre how things look. Still getting used to this camera, how things look so much lighter in the camera. It's so weird. Okay. This is my favorite in this palette to put on my lid. It's a shimmery, almost like a, I don't know if it's like a, where is it? Like a taupey kind of a shade. It's pretty light. But when you go over it with, when you put that over top of a matte, it keeps it from, I don't know, it keeps it from moving around too much, but it also just kind of helps it to pop a little bit. I don't know. I just like the way it looks. I'm gonna go back in with this brush. I'm not gonna put any more on it with that brown and just go in. Make sure I didn't get any of that shimmer anywhere I don't want it. I like to have the matte stay up higher here. Okay. And then I'm going to take a more densely packed brush and I'm going to go into this shade right here. It's like a, kind of like a burnt orange reddish shade, and I'm going to go on my the outer third of my eyelid just to give a little bit of definition here. Okay. Just a little bit. There's that right eye that doesn't like to blend. What it is about that eye, it just doesn't, it does not want to blend. Okay. Alright, so that is the eyeshadow look. I like the way that this, which is like a cooler tone shimmer that I was showing you on my lid, I love the way that looks against the warmer tones on my brow bone. I love to mix cools and warms. That makes sense. I don't know, I just like the way it looks. This is one of my favorites, again, of this year. This one is worn off, so I'm going to show you my backup because I do really like this. It is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Kohl Eyeliner. It's in the shade Simma Brown Now. It's a pencil that you can sharpen. And it's very easy to use. I like a harder pencil with eyeliner only because it's harder for me to overdo it and mess up. I will go in on my lower lashes, and then just a little bit on my top. Careful not to poke yourself in the eye like I do sometimes. Just a little bit there just to define the eye, not a lot. This is the Wet n Wild Rose Comforting Lip Color. I talked about this, it's kind of hard to see, in a short video. The shade called Taffy Daddy. This is, I could not believe how high quality this product was. I love my lip products, but I'm not crazy about lipstick and lip liner and things like that are just a little bit harder to use. This glides on so smoothly, and it actually reminds me a lot of this Maracuja Juicy Lip by Tarte. I talked about this in my high-end favorites of 2023. This is very similar. This shade is a little different. The other one is in my purse right now. This one's called Soft and Juicy. The other one is my favorite, Taffy Daddy. But this one has slight shimmer in it, but it's a little bit lighter. You know, it's a twist up. It's not the highest quality cap. It will come off in your purse, so you do have to be very careful with that. But it's, again, Wet n Wild's prices, you can't beat them. This has no business being $4.99. It's so, so good. So good. Highly recommend this. If you're looking for something that is kind of hydrating, doesn't, you know, dry your lips out like a lipstick does, it's really comfortable. You can just put it on. You don't really even have to look in the mirror. It's more like it's kind of like a combination of a lipstick and a balm, a little glossy. I love this. My favorite shade is Taffy Daddy, but that one is a little hard to find. I think I ended up ordering it on Amazon, but I did get this one at a drugstore because I liked the other one so much. Really, really high quality. Love it. The only thing I will say is it smells like rose oil. I don't love that, but I can get past that. It's really, really good. Okay. Okay, so I don't have a Wet n Wild mascara at the moment, so I'm just going to go ahead and use another drugstore mascara to finish up this look, and then I will be right back, and I will wrap up. Okay, I am back. I just went in with the Maybelline Falsies Surreal Mascara. Kind of new to me as well. Really like this one. So there you have it. This is a almost full look with Wet n Wild products, some of my favorites. So high quality. It's one of my favorite brands. It doesn't have to be expensive to work well, even if you have maturing skin. I reach for this a lot since I purchased it, so I highly recommend. I also have a few of these 5-pan palettes. I think I talked about this one in another video. It's the Marilyn Monroe limited edition palette. There's a collection. This one is very, very good as well. 5-pan, some neutral shades here, just really, really good. I have a few others as well that maybe I'll use in another video, but just really, really high quality. I will link all of these products down below if you're interested in giving them a try. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I hope that you make it a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.